There's a doorbell that taught me more about business than any textbook ever could. So I'm standing on the front porch of a complete stranger's house. I've got a clipboard, a Sharpie, and a heart rate that's increasing. And I ring the bell. And suddenly, I'm aware of my own existence. My posture, my breathing, the way my smile feels slightly forced, hovering somewhere between confident professional and a terrified kid. A few seconds pass. It is the perfect silence for imposter syndrome to whisper, "You are not ready for this." And the door swings open. A man in his late 50s comes out, looks me up and down, no hello, no social grace, just dead eyes stare and 4 words. "What the do you want?" That was my first day in door-to-door sales. And strangely enough, he was the only person I sold to that day. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Zain. I've spent the last few years studying the psychology of money. So in statistics, there's a concept called sample size. If you flip a coin twice and it lands on head both times, you don't conclude that tail doesn't exist. You realize you haven't flipped enough times. And that is how it is with life. Most of our failures aren't actually failures. They are just small sample sizes. If I had stopped after door number 5, where everyone was polite but nobody bought from me, I would have gone home telling myself a comforting lie that they'll probably call tomorrow. Or maybe next week. The truth is, no they won't. You got politely rejected and your ego rewrote it as hope. We prefer the nice rejection because it doesn't bruise the ego. But nice rejections is the most expensive thing you can own. It feels like progress, but it's actually just a lack of data. And by door number 50, when I ran into the mean guy, something clicked. That success is often a lagging indicator of volume. Nobody goes to the gym for one day, looks in the mirror and says, well, the gym is not for me. But we do that with our careers every single day. We send 3 emails, get no replies, and decide the market is not working. So after knocking on thousands of doors, I realized that most people were too nice to say no. So they gave me something worse, a soft no. Like, let me think about it. Leave a flyer. In psychology, this is called social desirability bias. It is a tendency for people to answer in a way that does not make them feel bad. They want to feel like they're a good person, so they trap you in a limbo. And limbo is where confidence lies. A real no might hurt for 10 minutes, but a maybe drains your battery for the next 3 days. So when the mean guy yelled at me, he was actually giving me a gift that nice people refuse to give: clarity. The second I got a real answer, I could stop being a salesman and start being a human. I dropped the forced smile and said, totally fair, I'll be real quick. Are you happy with your plan or have you been meaning to upgrade? So the hardest part of the job wasn't the actual making of the sale. It was the walk between door to door. I felt like the whole neighborhood had just received a notification that I was there. I imagined people behind the blinds, judging my suit, my voice. This is the spotlight effect, a cognitive bias where we overestimate how much others notice our flaws. We live our lives as if a camera crew is always following us. And this leads to amygdala hijack. Our brains treat a social ego bruise as if we have been attacked. Our alarm systems go firing. But then I realized something, that nobody was watching. Every person who shut the door forgot I existed the second I walked away. They were basically too busy in their own lives. The spotlight wasn't on me, but I was the one holding the flashlight and pointing at my own face. We spend our 20s trying to build a perfect structure where we never have to feel the sting of rejection. But a life without a no is a life without scale. If we want to increase our income, we have to increase our volume. And we have to step out of the spotlight and realize that the world is not a stage. It's basically like a lab, and a failed experiment is just one more data point. So what maybe are you currently living in that is draining your battery? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.